Good evening, all, and welcome to After Dark. We're here today with John from the Constellation, who his bridge chair has permanently been moved to the ER, it seems. Um, Drew, who's just walking in from the Russell camp. Richard Steele, who's always here, our 10th Brigade OIC. Jeff Hignam, the comms peon, and Captain Greg Kielner, HR director. And hey, there's the Grand Boobah.
Hey, Chief.
Hail the conquering hero.
Sorry.
Steve, you look as bad as I feel.
Well, you're still ugly, so it's okay.
Well,
Hey,
so
Richard,
are you, but that's why we love each other.
can you go to streamyards.com/Facebook to fix your comments in the chat so your name shows up?
Why would you
Thanks,
do
sir.
that?
And for anybody else, the same thing. If when I post your comment, if your name shows up as Facebook user, streamyards.com/Facebook, it will allow you to say Facebook can post your comments as your name. We can actually address you as yourself. Steve?
Did you get my message, Steve?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
No problem. Again, I got to talk to Greg Bird. He's Emergency Services Coordinator for the city Tuesday. So
Sweet.
it helps to know people.
Right?
It's true.
And
Sorry I'm not on my computer, but we're actually moving, and most of my shit will just covered up right now. So
Didn't you just barely get into place?
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Damn, boy.
hey, at least you have internet.
I hate moving.
Oh no, we
Hey,
don't
Chris.
move until next week. But we're already trying to get stuff done.
Long time no hear
Yeah,
from
it
you,
takes a
Chris.
while to gather things up for such a move. I've done it many times.
Thank you, Donnie.
So y'all missed one heck of a con. We know for a fact that we got 3 new members, and we're looking at 4 or 5 joining. On top of that,
Okay.
Actually, between
Don, why the hell are you
the
back?
4 chapters, we got 6.
what'd you say?
Between the 4 chapters, we got 6.
What did you say, Steve?
I said, why is my XO back in the hospital? And he didn't tell me.
You know, I just got here yesterday. So, it happens. I just set up the laptop an hour ago. So, I've been kind of in and out of communication.
You know, John. He was walking by the hospital, and a cute little nurse said, "Hey, John, come here." He followed her in.
Hey, look, damn it. Don't be calling me out like that. That ain't right.
You missed it. The cute
Well,
little nurse
you're
was
so-
in the screen a half an hour ago.
He wants to beat me in hospital hours. You've already done it, hands down, dude. Go home.
Go home. We don't want you here anymore.
Yeah, well, he's been there so much, he's got a room named after him.
Yeah, but wait till he gets the tax statement for it. You
But
owe this for the hospital.
All I can say is thank God for Medicaid.
Everybody, please, we will be holding a CS candidate panel in July. I will be scheduling this after we get moved in and situated. So just be looking out for that. I'll be sending that out to all the candidates.
Are we going to have one during AIC?
You mean VIC?
There's
the
a.
VIC, yeah. Are we going to have one during the VIC?
That would be a question for Aaron Davies. I don't know.
I can answer that.
Okay.
There is a scheduled time for the candidates right before I believe it's before your final statement to introduce the candidates in the VIC as well.
So during the VIC, I will also be traveling to Scranton, Pennsylvania, to officiate a wedding for a Starfleet member, and gonna be doing it in full uniform for out there in Region 7. So I will be a very busy person that week.
So how many stars did you give away in Region 3? 20, 30 of them?
I gave out 22, and two of them were for people that was not inside Region 3.
That rode with you, right?
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I'm watching it and I was sick and I got to see that part. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I gave out more at Region 3, but I've asked other regions for nominations on that, but I never hear back. So,
Who is the Facebook user? I'm wondering. It just
But-
said hi to me.
guys, unfortunately, it is Friday night, and I have put in 67 hours in 1 week. I'm tired. We just now got the stopping point, so wanted to stop in and say hi to everybody. Remember, no politics, no CS debates on After Dark. It was for fun. I can hear Fiona in the next bedroom tell me no politics because she's a loudmouth. But
Today's politics
Don't
are
worry.
just
No politics for me.
Steve, look at your messages. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
what message? Hang on.
Second and fourth week instead of first and fourth. Give us a break between.
Yeah, we could do something like that. That'd be fine.
Cool.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great night.
See
ya.
ya. Have fun, Steve.
Turn back into a
Well,
young man.
let me do that announcement that I told you about, the newsletter. Many of you've probably seen the announcement, and we're going to be doing the newsletter awards again. There's going to be a chapter award, one chapter award, and one regional award. So chapters can nominate their newsletter. Just pick a newsletter, the best one that you've done during the year 2021, and we will look it over, see if you're deserving of the award. And then the region, usually regions have their own newsletters. We're going to allow that this year. Next year, it'll probably be different. More awards, maybe one for the sitting chapters or chapters in good standing, and the others for the shakedown cruises, maybe a youth award, but we didn't have enough time to develop those. We just wanted to concentrate on getting the award started again after a 2-year hiatus. When I was given comms, nothing was said about newsletter awards until somebody started asking. There were only one or two. So we are going to start that. A new member of the staff, Dave Lowry, will be handling that, and he'll set up a committee to look at the awards. We're going to give you until about the 15th of July, I believe, maybe even a little bit longer, because then the committee, made up of members of the communications staff, as well as a couple not a part of the communications staff, will be judging those awards. So there will be 2 awards, and that's about it. And just get your newsletters, nominate them send them to my address at comms@sfi.org. So that's it. Newsletter awards for this year, and they will be announced during my talk at the virtual IC this year. So I'll be announcing them when my time comes to talk about the communications department. And this year, instead of it being taped like I've done the last 2 years, I'll be doing a live one. So that's my plan for this year.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hope you guys can send some in. You don't have to send a whole bunch. Every newsletter, send one good one from each chapter. And since we have over 5,000 chapters, we should at least get 5,000 nominations. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
So,
But
coming off
guys,
the awards thing, me and Drew were talking about how we do have a bunch of awards for different things within Starfleet, but you're not limited to just the Starfleet base awards.
right.
You can do awards from your chapter to another chapter, or you can do special awards for people inside of your chapter. Kind of like we got one from the Nomad for being friends of the Nomad. That's a real cool award that we got
And for
right
helping
before
out with
we were out of
problem
Shakedown. The one thing that we saw at the con was really cool was we had a cosplayer go full out in Ferengi cosplay. She actually has the full headdress that takes 2 hours to complete to do it. And
Oh God.
so when you see something like that and then the person does a really good job, you can customize the award by adding gifts to it or by making the certificate come from, say, the Grand Negus. And
Yeah.
basically make a custom one-off award for the person that would be cool for them to hang up or, hey, bring to a con to display. Because it is a one-off and you can add different things to it. I'm not going to say what because we're still working on that particular award and don't want to give it completely away. But
Right.
on top of that, Jesse, the guy from the Andromeda, the captain from the Andromeda, arranged for 4 different chapters to come out. And actually, we ended up having 5 chapters at the event for recruiting. And we all worked together. So, one thing that we found was an award for setting up the event. And when you see something like that, where a person goes out of their way to set up a big recruiting event and invite multiple chapters to do it, put them in for that award and get with your regional coordinator and actually bump up the award to a first class award.
Yeah, those awards are there for a reason. So we need to award our members and our friends if they're in the Starfleet, especially. Hello, Fran. Good to hear from you.
Hey, Fran.
So these are things that just make the experience a whole lot better, especially if somebody comes in and works a booth for, say, what was it? We got there at like 9 o'clock, and there was 3 of us, 2 other people there from like 10 o'clock to 12:30, 1 o'clock before anybody else showed up. And most of those worked the whole day. So whenever you're doing something like that and spending time, it's nice to get that attaboy of thank you for coming there. And the cool thing was we weren't looking to specifically recruit for one chapter. As a matter of fact, one of the people that joined because or was planning on joining because we talked to him and say, hey, what do you like to do besides Starfleet or Star Trek alone? Because the one chapter is big in the Renaissance Festival. So it's like, this is the chapter you want to join if you want that. So we actually helped each other out throughout the day. Pretty good, Fran.
Cool.
How about yourself?
Well, Fran, you can see the state I'm in, so.
Jeff, if you're trying to talk, you were muted.
Yeah, I'm muted because Karen was asking to talk to me. I needed to talk to her. I'm Hold up, my son's talking to me. I'm going to have to mute myself again.
Okay. Hey, Paul, how did that walk go? Because I know you did the veterans walk up there. Anybody else got anything else while we're waiting?
Who did the veterans walk?
Paul Williams.
If I'm not mistaken, Paul Williams did a big veterans walk up in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah, well, he's also
Okay,
doing
yeah.
a 900 ruck soon.
He's doing the 900 mile.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
well, gentlemen, I'm going to have to take off now. I might be back later on. It depends on how long I need to talk to this one person. So have fun here, and I'll see you down the road. Okay?
Yep.
All
See you,
right.
Jeff.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care of us, Jeff. So I guess the vampire has fallen asleep on us again.
has
Well, it is ungodly time there.
It is. Well, I mean,
4
I'm
a.m.
usually up at 4 a.m. where I live.
Shush.
However, I've got to say, one of the TikTokers posted a 4 a.m. shot from that area, and the sky was lit up, and they were already showing the sun. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all are way up there. Since I'm in Florida, I don't get to see that sun until about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Right.
See it at 4 a.m. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I think it's like you start seeing light here at like 5:10 or something. But I've lived places where it's like I've seen it at 2 a.m.
You go just a little bit farther north than you are, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I lived in Yellowknife in Whitehorse, and in Whitehorse we're in a valley, so you get sort of a normal-esque
Because you
time
get the
because
shade.
there's big mountains on either side of you, right?
Right.
But when I lived in Yellowknife, which is not super flat, but flat enough that it doesn't really have vast changes in the horizon. You know, I was walking downtown Yellowknife at 1 a.m, and it's sunny out.
Yep. That time of year.
And it will be it will be dark for an hour.
You get like 2 hours of twilight, and
Yeah,
that's it.
like my grad party was in it was in May, so not even like at peak, right? And we went there in sunlight. We left the school at 11:30 and went there in sunlight. And it was dusk for a couple hours, and it got like dark about 1:30, and then by 3 a.m. it was twilight again as we started going with the sun coming up. And my members of my family, my mother specifically, has lived far enough north in Inuvik where those days there isn't a set.
That has got to screw your circadian rhythm.
Oh, it does. It does. I can remember one time we were in. There's a highway called the Dempster Highway. It goes between Inuvik and Dawson City, and it is patrolled by RCMP officers and their families in campers, as sort of like extracurricular, get paid to have a small vacation kind of thing. So I remember we had stopped for the evening at a place that the patrol normally stops at, and we were technically stopped for the evening, and we played Yahtzee till 1 a.m. because we didn't know it was 1 a.m. because it was sunny out, and you were like, the sun was up, and you were just like, whatever. And on the way back, there was snow.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, I personally have experienced snow in every month except July, and I have friends who have done every month where they've been somewhere in Canada and received snow, including July, which, I don't even know if that's fathomable.
Well,
There's Paul's update.
I've got to say I've never seen snow outside of flurries, so count yourself lucky.
I've seen snow.
Yeah, I've seen snow.
I did send an invite out to Paul if he wants to come on and talk about the ruck more, because it is a pretty cool charity.
It's
But what was I thinking? My brain is fried from this week.
I have to admit it's really weird. In Yellowknife, if you've ever seen fine powdered snow, very fresh fine powdered snow, like on a mountaintop or something, like if you've gone skiing or something, and you get that perfect snow, that is what Yellowknife snow is all the time.
Nice.
Which means there's a slight thing of if the wind starts being more than 10 miles an hour,
it blows that crap all over the place.
It sort of whips around, and depending on how much snow is around, you could end up with a lot of. But yeah, nope. I remember Yellowknife fondly. Strangely, it's changed a lot now because it has diamond money. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. The diamond mines all fly into Yellowknife. Because they're all along that. They're along the Nunavut border, but most of them are inside on the Northwest Territories side, not on the Inuvik side, or not Inuvik, Nunavut side.
Sweet.
But yeah, everything flies to Yellowknife because they've got a big processing cutting center there. So they cut them into like grade, and then they do what diamonds do, which is generally go to Antwerp, depending.
You don't think about outside of Africa having diamonds anywhere else?
Russians have them too. At one point, they were flooding, actually. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Russians have it. They have similar kinds of deposits. But yeah, I mean, diamonds are very normally thought of as being very African, but
like everything else,
lately,
you just got to find.
In the last 20 years, there have been ways to find and dig for it. I think it was just finding them that was the biggest problem.
Oh, really? Basically looking for the volcanic deposits?
Yeah, looking for the correct deposits and getting those pipes. Because, you can get if I don't have the percentages, but it's like one of those things of gradients of things where it's like you have the deposit of the stuff, and then you get that minute percentage of those deposits can have diamonds, and only so much of those deposits are going to have gem quality diamonds, kind of thing, right?
Dang.
It's the normal thing of just progression.
But if they're not gem quality, then they're tool quality.
Yes, and when they're tool quality, you can. But comparatively, tool quality diamonds are considerably
cheaper.
Cheaper. Although the quotation mark about cheaper seems to apply to everything as of late.
But one of the recruits is actually she does a YouTube vlog that's basically the stories of the descendants of the Star Trek kids.
Oh, okay.
So it was
So,
one
like
of
the
those
actors?
like like each of the casts, she made
Oh,
up
okay.
a story about the bridge cast kids.
It makes up stories on the characters.
Oh, well, that's fair.
So it's one of those things of you go and you start talking to people and you find out, oh yeah, I do this. She goes, I want to join. Talking to Drew. So basically, we got a couple, her and her son, I believe it was, or her whole family are vets. But
Her son, and her husband.
yeah, and she does that just in her spare time.
I don't know how well the crew did when they were in Vulcan. I know their guests of honor were the Enterprise Doctor and Chris Doolan, who I had sent my copy of Star Trek Online because I have a physical copy to get Chris to sign it.
So I made a mistake.
Uh-oh.
I go, hey, Drew, go talk to Tracy. And then Drew smoked with Tracy for the whole day.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, she wanted a cigarette. She'd walk past, she'd tap me, head it out. I asked her why she did it. She said, I need security, and what better than a Starfleet captain?
So basically, we got to talk to the Tracy and
Chase.
oh, thank you, Chase,
Masterson.
all day long.
Yeah.
So
Tracy's lots of fun. She was at Vulcan in 19.
Both of them are incredible ladies. I told them both. I told Chase, of course, you're more than welcome to come back on After Dark. We'd love to talk to you. And I told Tracy Tracy said, well, what's in After Dark? So I told her, oh, that sounds interesting. So I said, well, here's my card. There's my number and my email address. If you get a hankering, you want to come back, or if you want to, Tracy, in your case, you want to come, let us know. So,
well, that's good. I mean, it'd be really fun. There'd be a real feather in the cap to actually get a.
But Chase said that she will talk to Terry Farrell and Nana Visitor Force as well. So.
Oh, sweet.
I said, that's it. We'll take all three of you. We're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I said, you are awesome ladies. You're great people. You all have stepped out and made a difference. So you'd always be welcome.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that'd be quite the thing to have on the show.
I mean, I would love to have all three show at the same time. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be epic.
Yeah. So
most watched After Dark ever, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
But
what do you mean 8,000 people watch the show? There ain't that many people in Starfleet. Wait, there is today.
Well,
they all signed up.
Well, that's a recruiting experience, right?
I mean, that's what. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the 501st does that all the time, right? Because
what's funny is if you look at the pictures, there was more people for Star Trek than 501st at this con.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
It's not normally like that here, but
it's not normally like that here. It is definitely not normally that way here.
No, normally we're like,
they outgun us like 30-1.
Yeah, but
they can't hit anything.
Was, I didn't realize they had a.
But we still die.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that
if you're wearing a red shirt, yeah.
Sean found out they had a chapter in Israel.
Yeah.
Which surprised him.
The guy is wearing his Israel 501st. I stopped him. I went, I didn't think that there would be one in Israel. And I talked to him for a minute, and I was like, that is awesome.
The number of 501st in Germany always concerns me.
Well, think about this.
That many stormtroopers running loose. Think about this for a minute in Germany.
I love that though. There's a weird perky thing where one of the Canadian nicknames in World War I was Stormtrooper.
Yeah. And
we called you Doughboys. The British were Tommies. We were Stormtroopers.
But if you think about it, though, an Israeli trained stormtrooper, would that be a clone trooper?
There you go.
They could actually hit the target.
Yep, it'd be one of the few.
Yeah, it'll be
one of the guys looked at me and he points his finger at me and he goes, "Sci-Fi Bartow." I said, "Yep." And one of the 4 people in armor pointed his laser at me, and he goes like he shoots, and the one that Sean talked to in the Israel shirt grabbed his own chest and said, "Will you please go get glasses?" So I laughed. I was like, "That's great. That's the way to do it. Just have fun with it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always tried to get some of the. I've always wanted to get a photo op with them, but they're usually so busy running their booth because they do the booth thing
right
for Make-A-Wish. So,
well, if you come down to Sci-Fi Bartow next year,
yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, yes, and if I win the lottery,
well, if you come down, you'll be able to get
today.
photo booth opportunities at our booth. And then you can go mess with them, and we'll take pictures while you're messing with them.
Yeah,
you're another one of those men, Richard, with this incredible hairdo. They can't say you're a weirdo. Just hitchhike.
We sent one of our ensigns to sneak a tribble into one of their photo things.
I went up to the one last year, and he's in front of a door that looks like one of the portals for a ship. I looked over. I was like, "Is the bathroom in there?" And he just starts shaking his head. He goes, "Actually, yes."
Because of construction at the site where we have our big convention here in Calgary. They put, because they've had to close a bunch of the washrooms because of construction, they put in trailers in the building for washrooms at one end of the community section. It looks hilarious. Like you're in a building.
And here's your trailer of porta potty.
But like you have these trailers of washrooms set up.
Mm-hmm.
It's funnier than hell to look at.
Not when you have need to use one, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least it's a trailer set, right? Not like little porta potties, right? It's
right.
It's just a washroom in a trailer, so
Mm-hmm.
at least it's big. There's no shortage of washrooms in the site, which I'm appreciative of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to get political. And every national capital, there's a shortage of porta potties. Look at all that shit running around. Just saying.
Oh. That's funny.
Facebook user is busy.
The one is Eric Johnson, the one that posted.
Found it. I'm picking on him. I know who it is. I'm
I
playing.
don't know who the other one
no
is.
idea.
I don't know why I had to do it again.
You went to a different stream.
Maybe.
Oh, it was you this time?
No. But like earlier, I had to
Yeah, I
read
know.
them, and I was just like, hell.
But it was really cool being able to talk to the different people there and find out about it. There was a guy that both him and his son were dressed up as Thor with the axes,
Oh, they
and
were gorgeous. That was
he made
incredible.
an axe for the original axe was um for his original costume looked like a cartoon version of the axe.
Oh, okay.
So his son had that axe, and he had the actual axe that looked like the one in the movie. And so it was like Dad and Junior.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, look, it's the cartoon version."
They I haven't seen them in the circuit since, but in
Okay.
19 at both Calgary and Edmonton, there was a father and son xenomorph from Aliens,
Oh,
and I
that'd be
mean,
cool.
like, you could not tell, that was a xenomorph. The scenes were perfect. The you know it was impossible. The only way you told which one was which was because one was significantly shorter.
Yeah, Stormbreaker. Thanks, James. I couldn't think of the name. But I gotta say, we were passing out the Star Trek the coloring book. We'd printed off and was given away to everybody or all the kids. And I'd call them over by the character name until it got to the anime characters. I'd be like, I don't know who you are, so I can't call you over. And they would just keep going. I'm like, okay. But we had plenty of Spider Man and Gwen Stacy, but the amount I was surprised there wasn't as many stormtroopers.
I thought it was hilarious. I was at Edmonton, I think in 18. Yeah, in 18. No, maybe it was 16. And there was somebody dressed like comic book Valkyrie, like from the 80s. And I went up to her, and she was like 19 or something. And I was like, hey, how many people know who you are? 3. Okay, it's 4 now. Valkyrie. And she was like, thanks. Like that very, that thing of, I'm glad you know who I am, but like, obviously not necessarily having the, in one way, not the greatest experience, because she put obviously a lot of effort to make it look like the comic books.
Right.
And then for people to not really recognize it because, I'm, because it's not an Avenger. It's probably annoying her a little bit, but I recognized it because I'm an old man like that. Yeah, no, I'm youngest in the room or second youngest in the room, whichever.
This was actually my first true con experience, so I didn't know about like the game room.
Oh yeah.
So going in there and being part of the 3D printer community, you go through and they find out you do 3D printing, and the game people go, "Hey, you've got to get a resin printer because you can get a lot more details out of this and that." And they just give you information, and it's like, "Hey, here's what you got, what you can do for this." So that was a pretty cool experience there too.
What's really fun is to watch people when they walk past your table and they see a phaser rifle sitting there.
Yeah.
Every hand goes. It's like, yes, you can touch. I can. Yeah, sure. You want to hold it? Can I? Go ahead.
There was a kid that was so pissed off. He was ready to go. He didn't want food. He didn't want. I tried to give him the coloring book. He didn't want that. He saw the rifle and went.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear that. I have to admit, so our artist alley is always in or not always, but traditionally it's in another building, right? and then it's usually ringed by the comic book artists and the comic book writers. So your professionals are all along the perimeter, and then your or at least your in some cases semi-professionals. And then your center is the artist alley, right? Where various people. I mean, arguments about professional and whatever, because definitely some of the people in the artist alley are people who go from con to con to con to con, right? And they're definitely the same quality as some of those artists and that. So
I'm going to say my printer is loud enough to keep me well, it's got like a sound where you can fall asleep to it, but it's not super quiet. However, the problem is any airflow can mess with it. So you don't want it in a room where you need to be cool because that thing is hot.
oh, yeah. And I have to admit, if you're not printing it yourself, some of the stuff can be very pricey. And I have found out that I hate sanding.
Really?
Yeah, I bought stuff, so I'm trying to sand it down.
You can get yourself a Dremel.
Yep, a Dremel will do it. If it's a larger piece, a vibrating sander will do it.
Yeah, I mean, the pieces I'm working with are handgun.
The only problem with using power tools to sand with PLA or ABS or any of those is if you leave it running too long on it, it's going to get very hot and start melting it.
Yeah. I try to be
Hey,
careful.
James, join SFI. Let me get the right thing. SFI 3D print. I believe I have a video of my printer running.
Yeah.
And you can get I think if you turn yours up to about a medium, it will give you the sound of my printer.
Let's see.
Got to find it though.
I don't know squat about 3D printing. Where do you get the blueprints?
Actually, you pick them up. They're not blueprints; they're STLs, a specific type of file. They get them from things like. If you don't make your own, I make some of my own. You can also get. Universe. You can get them. There's a bunch of sites out there. You can pick them up for free.
Well, that's cool.
It's a lot of community work
because
of that.
It's a massive community.
Yeah.
And as their price is coming down from $1,500 to $300-$400, it's expanding.
Right.
Hey Jesse, I added you to the group, and there's a link in there if you want to join. Since you beamed in. It depends on the printer too. You can build a cage around it or a enclosure out of like plexiglass, and it'll deaden a lot of the noise. There are some of the printers have ways to lessen the noise lower, but I think mine and Drew's are probably two of the quieter ones, even though they're two of the larger form printers.
That's at times, because when they go to screw up, the first thing they do is wah, 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 wah.
But then you know it's messing up.
This is true. And then the mad dash to go fix what's going on.
How badly did it mess it up?
Well, mine, covered the whole nozzle with filament, so I had to replace that and then clean every piece off.
Ooh.
Actually, check out everybody3dprints.com. They do refurbished printers right now.
Yeah,
And
for
if
like
I'm not mistaken, they have a printer right now. It's the original Atom Labs gantry for $100 plus shipping, or you pay $150 and it's refurbished. Get the refurbished one, get the $150, and that includes shipping. And it's basically 14 inches by 12 inches, which is one of the largest format printers you can get.
14 by 14. No, wait. The Atom
It's
Lab,
12 by 12 by 14.
12 by 12 by 14. The Gantry Pro is 14 by 14 by 18. That's what Sean have.
But like I said, for $150 for a starter printer that is basically just a little bit under what me and Drew have as our main printers, it's not bad. I'm actually thinking about buying one before they sell out. Everyone 3D prints. Maybe. Everybody 3D prints, not everyone. I typed it in wrong. They got 80 units left that I'm talking about.
They
But-
finally give me my disability money. I may just have to get one.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not a you can go and just start printing perfectly out of the gate. It takes learning.
Yeah,
So
there's always a learning curve.
Like you'll get one or two prints that are easy prints, and then when you start doing the more difficult things, you're gonna have to do stuff. And yeah, Mike, that 3D print Mako rifle, what, $1,000? The materials for it in printing is about $150. So basically what you're looking at, time to sand it down, put it together, buying the metal rod and all that to make it that Mako rifle is, and then shipping on top of that cost almost $100 for that rifle.
Whoa.
I like that, John.
Yeah. How long did the rifle take, Drew?
It's 76 pieces. Average print for each bed, because I printed multiple sections, was 19 hours, and oh geez, it was close to a week and a half. That's not counting assembly. The thing is in a lot of pieces. That's okay. The Klingon sniper rifle is like 87 pieces.
It's a fair amount of work.
I don't have anything here that I would have printed. I did buy a couple pieces from to support a couple of the vendors there. Little wolf head from The Witcher. And I bought a mask. Just because these are two things that I am not going to be looking to print anytime soon. So they had them at basically just barely over cost. So who's calling?
Be right back.
Okay. So
Well,
was that holy cow, James, for the price, or
could be the time.
I always wanted to buy a 3D. And as far as models go, Donnie, we made on our printer, we made the, I believe it's the Vorcha Klingon ship. Gave it away. We made a couple small sovereigns. I made about 5 Akiras that were about this big, and I gave them away to kids. So you can make the models of pretty much any size if you can break them down. It's how long you want to take it. Yes, I believe that there is that. There's one that says that, Paul, I think. If not, that's one of those things that you can use a 3D modeling thing and make a plaque out of to go boldly. Drew?
Say that again.
Paul wants to make a metal hanger that says to go boldly.
You can make it on a 3D printer with plastic, and it's lighter and less chance of really hurting anybody if it falls.
Yeah.
Then you just paint it.
Okay.
Get it, Patina.
Jesse. I'm going to say this, Paul. 2 or 3 props on Etsy, and you can buy a 3D printer. Because we were comparing it. You can't see it now because we're not in our normal studio, but the Ryza statue that's behind Drew is about 7 times bigger than the one sold on Etsy for almost $100.
You're talking about the Horgon.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll bring it.
So basically, the Horgon that sold on Etsy is smaller than my drink bottle, and it's almost $100.
It'll always depend on your ability to be able to. I mean, I know a lot of people who just don't have space to have a 3D printer in their house.
They make the believe it or not, the ones we have.
Let's just
fit
put it
on
this
my
way,
little.
My wife knows when I'm in the mood.
This little table I have beside my bed,
yeah.
My 3D printer fits on this. It was actually sitting here for a while.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes people don't have the space. Remember that you were talking about airflow being a thing and that kind of thing. So, like, sometimes people don't have dedicated space to put stuff, right?
If I needed to right now, as long as I clear out my closet, I could put it in my closet and run it. And actually would probably be one of the better places to run it. So as long as you have enough room for the table to move back and forth without it getting caught, it pretty much doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And a lot of people do put them in their closets. I saw one guy had one on either side, and then he had his clothes in the middle. So all he'd have to do is close the closet, and he was running 2 printers at once.
Yeah. If you have the
So-
space, you can do that. But that's not always everybody's reality, right?
This is true.
Really, I wonder how much they charge for use of that.
Oh yeah, no, and there is makerspace and all kinds of programs if you go fishing for it. But I mean,
Yeah, we were looking at one in Lakeland, which is about 30 minutes from you, Drew.
Yeah.
That we were looking at the cost. It was $150 a month to have access to the space, and at that 150, it went to your hours of time. But it would come off at $10 an hour to print. So, let's just say,
hey, Eric.
Not Eric.
Yeah,
Hi,
get
Eric.
those awards done.
say the rifle at 85 hours or whatever,
Right.
that would have been $850.
Yeah, and
Just-
that's always the balancing act, right? If you're going to use a makerspace or something, then it's the how much is the recoup going to be?
See the
But
little
obviously-
shopping class?
Something small like that, not a big problem.
This little thing right here
Yeah, 4 hours,
was like 2.5
3.5, 4 hours.
No, only 2 hours to print this thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Right.
always the thing, right?
But on Etsy, this one, this size,
Yeah.
is $54. I've seen it for 50 and being sold.
Oh, can you get an Eric Moss which is about the same size for like
Because
$60?
Yeah, see, you're getting the point. There are some programs out there that when you, and Microsoft Windows has the worst one. When you put something in for a 3D print, it'll calculate what it should be, what you should charge. Okay, something like this, it says $35. Now I was playing with the idea, and I made this big, the STL. And I put it in there, and I had to put in all the components, and they estimated the cost. When they said $1,200, I said, somebody's out of their freaking mind.
Well, it's probably built. It's probably built on a scale, and that scale just stops working at a certain point, right?
Yeah, it's the same scale that Microsoft works on. Look, it says Microsoft. It's another 1050.
Well, I mean, it's like the joke of like if you put Supreme on stuff, you can charge more, regardless of whether the quality's there. But and I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, it vastly depends on how you're going to. I mean, I've seen my share of 3D prints that are somebody's upscaled some 2-inch model and to 2 feet or 3 feet, and you can watch it print for like a week while it does it, right? Well, those are nice. That's quaity.
Hey, that's cool. Very cool.
That's the balance better.
Love it. That's an excellent paint job too.
12 hours to paint it, to print it.
Yeah.
Okay. In plastic, $11 maybe. I've seen this twice on Etsy. Now the model is free on Thingiverse.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it twice on Etsy, and both times it was going for $100.
Damn.
No one said we were smart.
There's companies like XYZ that make the little Da Vinci. I think it's like $300. I'll find out.
That reminds me, I need to get some paste.
They're from 200 to 406 for the Pro version.
Oh wow.
They're about 18 inches by 9 inches in there. They print a 6 by 6 by 10.
Right.
So if you have something with a whole bunch of little tiny components, you can print them in that and make something bigger. Now, you can get their Pro version, Pro one, which is roughly the size of most people's coffee tables, and it's $3,499.
But you can print a big thing on that.
You can print a car in 20 pieces, but that's not where we're going. The fact of the matter is that they are going way down while the quality actually is going up.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that with different other kinds of computer components too, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the monitor that I'm currently like watching this all on, when that size of monitor, because I think this is a 27.
Well,
when these first came out, they were whatever, $1,500, right?
Well,
and I bought mine for $350.
John and I can remember the 10-inch monochrome, which means it's green background.
Oh yeah. And the 910
I mean,
and
it's
the
like,
910 printer.
right.
Yeah, I had both of those things.
Then you have that dot matrix printer that you sit over there behind you going.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. I had
And
a
then
robot.
the sprockets get all jacked up and they crumple up your paper and
Yeah. I was around. I had that.
Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing, bing.
yep,
Bing.
running on Commodore 64.
Yeah, someone else who remembers
on
a
the
real
VIC-20.
computer. Oh.
I had a tape drive on my VIC-20.
Yeah, I've
You had
had
second generation. We're talking the originals here, the Commodore 64.
yeah.
oh, you mean the book that took an hour and a half to type in to make a circle?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That and the Tandy
Yeah,
1000.
I remember that. I remember 800
Johnny.
baud.
You know, we had so much fun with our older machines.
Yeah, the one good thing is they were much more difficult to hurt than the newer ones are.
Yes.
Yes, but think about the weapons value of those things.
That's true.
Pick up one of those Kennedy 15 keyboards. You can take out a row of folks. Go, bam!
Yeah,
Steel
well,
shells, steel keys, a steel plate, and like, oh yeah, it's a 10-pound keyboard. I can beat you to death with this thing.
Wow, that's the best price I've seen on Etsy for anything.
What's that?
Type 3 phaser rifle.
Mm-hmm.
$125 for the DIY kit, $200 for the assembled, and $275 for painted.
Oh,
that's actually not a bad price one.
No, that's not a bad price.
That's not a bad price at all.
But you can get head from Leonard Nimoy.
I could go straight to Drew's. Anyway, Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy's head is $69.
Yeah, the bust of Spock is pretty ubiquitous in Star Trek circles.
It's true. So, it is.
The little symbol model cards that we give away.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are $6 each.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm going to let the bag out of the cat here.
Oh no!
At 3 times the original size, those little models use 91 cents, and that's including the plastic, the electric, and whatever little sanding you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Period. The way Sean and I do them, they're 18 cents. You whip them babies out. You make a bunch of them. You put them in a box, and you just pass them out. The kids will stop and play. Mom and dad can talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win.
We actually make them thicker than the original model.
We make them 1.5 larger and 2 even thicker.
Nice. Oh, excuse me just a second, folks. Come in.
This is the first time I've seen some of the prices have gone down on some of the stuff, and they're actually better prices for once.
That's because we've been pointing them out and we've been calling them out.
It's true. Well, you probably not just you, but various other people too.
All right. Well, Carol was looking for something Trek related. I can't remember what. I think it was coming up, and Tori had asked her. And she finds the SFI logo at about 9 inches. So she's, and I mean complete with the words, Starfleet International Fan Association. Are you a member of SFI? What's SFI? I found that on the internet. Huh? That is a registered trademark. Oh, I didn't know. Then she found another one selling something else that's SFI related. He goes, yeah, I'm an SFI and I'm an admiral. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. It's like, no, you're not. He had to pull it.
There's a patch for the USS Zavala. Mako patch.
Well,
There's a Region 15 patch up here, a Region 13 patch. USS IWA Gemma patch.
okay, if you see USS Russell Camp, nail him.
Starfleet Mako patch.
If they have our boy Richard here, well then make his ass famous. They have him on a patch. You make
There
him.
it is.
Jesse!
Hey, I made it.
Oh my goodness.
We'd wait for you, Jess.
Yeah,
Now-
sorry. I was out at a kava bar with some friends.
This is the man that made SpaceCon possible for us.
So not only did he organize it, but he sent out the awards for the recruiting for everybody that was in attendance.
Yep. The class
So-
2, the region level.
Yep.
So unless you were listening earlier,
For about the last 15, 20 minutes or so.
okay, you're going to be getting a class 1 award for organizing it.
Oh, really?
And yes,
Oh, wow.
Ryan has already said it's cleared by him. He's going to taking it straight up.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
We thank you that you made that day possible, which is an incredible day.
Hey, I just connected some dots and connected some people.
So how many actually join the Andromeda?
Joining the Andromeda, I think we only ended up with one, the one that was on the Dax cosplay so far.
Right.
But I did have several more that joined the general crew, like just the Facebook page. Just haven't made the jump to Starfleet yet.
Well, that's good. At least you got contacts that way.
Wait,
Now
we get to count that?
Because I've got about 86 people in the Facebook group, but of course some of those are, like you guys that are from other chapters. But on the Andromeda's roster, we're sitting at 25 members.
Well, that's good.
Any contact with the outside world is a positive.
Yes.
Now we need to work on getting the Odyssey to join SFI.
Sci-Fi Sean wants to be on the show. So does Sci-Fi Lori. The only problem is the hours. Because of the hours they work, the show would never work. And I have been cleared by the boss man. We can make a couple of videos about what happens at Sci-Fi Bartow, and Sean said he has them, and we'll just put video presentations out about it.
Yeah, that'll be a
And
big Region 2
Bartow
event.
Con.
Hey,
so yeah.
How great is Sci-Fi Bartow? They're putting on a birthday party for me in 2023.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yes, and it's called Bartow Con.
I have a question for you guys.
It'll be the con man in Bartow.
Did you guys get awards recently?
Yes,
we did. Thank you.
From Richard, which I got to thank you for that.
Yes,
because
thank you so much.
Yeah, you probably should also thank Phil. I can't do it by myself because I'm not an RC.
Oh, that's true.
I didn't go to my RC to get it done.
Phil knows.
I sent an email to Phil. Do this for me, please.
Sweet.
Okay,
but,
Mike.
And like
February 18th, the Sci-Fi Bartow, the city of Bartow, Florida, opens its streets to be a con. And
it sounds fun.
October, they are going to start Bartow Con. The very first one is going to be in 2023.
Yeah,
it's going to be on Sean's birthday. You gotta come. Gotta come. We're gonna have fun.
If I win the lottery, I promise to come.
If you don't, you better be available for StreamYard.
Okay, yeah. I can probably,
because then you can at least see the fun.
True.
Besides, we're going to do an RP.
Yeah, Mike. Where are you at? Because I think you're in Florida, aren't you?
Is Mike in Florida?
Or he's from Florida.
Maybe he's from.
Yes, that's
because I think it was like north.
That's the county seat. He's up north. There's something you want to know about. If there's something you want to know about Starfleet, Mike's the man to ask.
But yeah, it's Polk County. It's where
right?
the court is. Yeah, Auburn.
I'm not great with your postal abbreviations.
But like I said, I didn't realize it was on my birthday until I'm looking at it. I woke up, looked at it, was like, wait, that's on my birthday. Because they're doing all the the planning for being an indoor con, adding that to it. I was like, oh, that'll be a great 45th birthday.
Sean sent me yesterday. He's like, hey, Drew, I finally got a date for BartowCon, and he sent it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. I said, you got to post that bad boy like big time. So
yeah,
I knew it was yesterday.
Vulcan was the weekend after my birthday.
Oh, close enough for Vulcan. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
it's at least a day and a half away at Warp 8, so you just got it.
No, it's about what. Depending on what part of Tampa, about 45 minutes to an hour. Hour and a half.
Just take I-4 and head towards Orlando, and you'll see this big sign that says Winter Haven, that away.
It's not far from there.
Yep.
But we're also, for the Sci-Fi Con, we're looking at possibly having like a cookout Sunday for anybody that comes. That way it'll be a full weekend. So,
and we want to fully match up one sometime before that so that we can have one. But I got to get loosely set schedules for everybody so I know I can make the best pick.
But one of the biggest things is everybody forgets whenever you're going out recruiting. And what's funny is Steve has been down here once for a birthday party. So
Yes, last October he came to my daughter's birthday party.
The big thing is remember two things. You don't have to be command staff to issue awards. If you're putting in an award for somebody as recognition on your ship that has done something that you know that they did, put it in and get with your captain so that they know what it is. And anytime you're doing recruiting and you have new people going out recruiting, it's a small attaboy to go,
Here's a recruiting award.
Here's a recruiting award for going out and standing for 3 to 4 hours in the sun a lot of times.
Oh, we've never done that.
Thank you for doing it.
Two of it because we had no air or anything left. Oh, we've actually damn near passed out from heat exhaustion and dehydration because of that event. But
that's not a good plan, Drew.
For punishment. Hey, we had water. It was just when we started, we
just
were in perfect shade. It was perfect. We had the big bottles of water. We were good.
The last time they put us directly in the sunlight.
It was like an hour after we got there. Suddenly the sun was right there. And it was going, I'm cooking. Yes, and we were the meal. Here's another thing you can make. It's a phone stand.
Oh, cool.
2 simple pieces. It's the old tab and slot routine. Boom, bam.
I have to admit, though, I did something very interesting this week related to the Starfleet Marine Academy. I qualified for the last 2 lanyards for the 100 level courses that you can do. So I am now qualified for all of the Marine lanyards.
Sweet.
Nice.
Because I did Mecha and Marine because they're finally back on active.
That is awesome.
Another thing since the last After Dark, Drew found a program to translate PDFs. So all of our
you can get 3 for free, 3 a day for free. So if you know anybody in another country, you can go to it. I'm going to have to find it, the name of it. And what you do is you just put in those PDFs below a certain size, and it will convert the entire PDF from English to that language and then save it as a PDF.
Well, that's neat.
That's cool.
We're doing good. How about you, John? But we're working on, or Drew's working on getting with Caesar and a couple others to
proofread.
Actually translate and proofread some Spanish and Portuguese so that region has not only the member handbook, but also the shakedown manual and all that stuff.
Well, that's great.
So
that's definitely something we need more
because
of.
We need to work in communication, and the thing's like $5 a month, I think it is. So I may be starting an account next month because then I can go up to 100 megabytes for a PDF and actually translate it.
So he'll be doing that. There are going to be some awards coming from the camp for people that helped us out. Unfortunately, our plans got screwed over by COVID again.
Sorry to hear that.
What we're doing. But like I said, just look for things to make the special awards because who knows? You got a person that every time you go out to an event, make sure that there's everything's cleaned up. You know, make that special thing of, hey, thanks for not keeping it so that I don't have to stay over by myself, and figure out how to word it in a way that sounds official. That way they know that you see what they're doing. That's part of the leadership motto that a lot of people miss. And it can change between a person renewing and then saying, screw it, I didn't get anything out of it this time.
Yeah, small in chapter awards actually do more for what's going on than I think even regional awards.
They're a huge morale booster.
Yeah, I have to admit that is not the strength currently we have. It's always something we've meant to do and never get around to actually sitting down and doing.
Yeah, once I found these Order of Merits and read through how many we have to offer, I've definitely been looking for opportunities to award them.
Yeah, no, and I gave out a bunch for when we did our regional conference, and obviously I also gave out like embassy awards for the Marines. I've tried to leave her the stuff that we have existing, but the chapter needs its own sort of stuff too, right? And it's a matter of sitting down and getting them set up and approved, and like, yeah.
The big deal is most people don't realize when you get a merit award regional that it actually came from your chapter. Somebody in your chapter saw you do something above and beyond and noted it and made sure to put something in. When it's from the chapter CO, you've been seen doing this great thing. Keep up the good work, setting the right example.
I
have to be the difference between leave or stay.
Yeah, I have to admit that as XO awards tend, or at least the merit awards tend to be, you fill out that paperwork. But I mean, I'm also brigade OIC, so I get a vast amount of awards at my fingertips for that as well. So.
Yes, I know of somebody who short term in SFI who just became a CO of a long-standing chapter. And when I said, so when are you slated your MSRs for? And he just said, my what? I said, oh, that's going to hurt. That's not going to be pretty.
No, I mean, and like we do a turn thing on the ship for the MSRs. So my turn was the head of this month. And of course, obviously, I have Marine things to sort out and do too.
Right. And it's like Sean and I do the MSRs. Ours is done, by the way, Sean, if you don't know that yet. We have.
I was asleep.
We have.
We just talked about this, right?
Yes. This person just literally looked at me. He says, "What's an MSR?" I said, "Monthly service report. You put in what you've done, any promotions, overall what's going on in the chapter. You have a comment section where you can put in, okay, this isn't cool, this isn't cool. You can actually, as long as you're polite about it, chastise the upper echelon because something's not going on."
I made use of that.
Plus, give hints, hints and ideas, and either they will or will not be noted. Some have been, but it helps communication stay in moving. Oh, well, how do I find that? So I showed him where it was, showed him how to find it, and he was like, "Wow, how did I get in here?" Well, you're the CEO.
You automatically have these permissions.
This is called, you're the chief cook, bottle washer, and slave. Enjoy your paperwork.
Yeah, that's what.
No, at that point, you say,
yeah,
you need to hire an XO that can do all of that shit for you.
I have an XO that can do all that stuff for me.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened with me. Was that the
Walmart keeps him
everything got
exhausted or strong.
downloaded to me.
Yeah, that's what I did as XO, and now that I'm CEO, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, I know. You kind of get used to it.
Hired the
Yeah.
wrong XO.
Delegate.
Hey,
Delegate.
My XO outranks me. He's a lieutenant general. I'm only a captain.
Yeah, but the responsibility is still yours. Now,
Yeah,
as XO, he should know how to do it.
It's billets, people.
Right.
Understand your billets.
So, for those that don't know, I think I have it up on the screen now.
Yep, I see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We won't get into... I'm not going above this because it gives out information I'm not giving out to everybody. But basically, you talk about your promotions, what you've done, and if you have any suggestions or activities or comments. Each month, if somebody gets promoted, we put it up in here. Pretty self-explanatory. Activities like how many hours of recruiting did you do? What type of meetings did you do? What activities to help out SFI? What
how many guns Olympics? How many people? What other things have you done? What have you helped plan with for the community? A whole lot of fun stuff goes in there.
How many volumes did you have this week?
You can store the MSR for later on. So as you're going through the month, you can actually store it.
Yeah.
And then on the date that you submit it, which is I think the 6th is the last date of the month.
Fifth.
Okay, I don't know because our date is the 27th.
After the 5th, it becomes late. Yeah. And then after 10 days, it's failure to report.
Yeah. So we put ours in the 27th.
Yeah.
And we've never been late. But the real cool thing about doing all this is, so if I'm doing a quarterly review to give out awards, I can pop up the last quarter's MSRs and read all this stuff and give away awards just by that.
Yeah, because we know by which service is being done, who's doing it.
Yeah.
So it works. You know, Sean, he's the vampire on the crew. So I'm up during the day, so I'm the one that usually tags everybody that's awake during the day and talks to them, make sure things are going okay, what's going on, if they're having any difficulties, how I can help them with it if possible. It's actually just a group of friends getting together and making sure we make a difference in some fashion. Real simple.
And you work as a team, especially like when you go to a con. If you go in as an XO and CO, the XO basically sits back, coordinates people, and while the CO is talking to people. And what did I do? I went, Drew, Tracy.
Yes.
Hey, can y'all come behind the booth? You're blocking everybody. Yeah. That's my whole thing. And training, just like you had, Jesse had a brand new person on his crew, and she got to see how recruiting's done, where you're not necessarily recruiting for one chapter. And not a lot of chapters do that. And we like to do it as a whole. We don't, anytime we go as a whole. As a matter of fact, Drew made a banner for all of the chapters that we work with. And he made QR codes for all the chapters. And Jesse's grabbing the QR codes, I'm betting.
Yep. They're right here on my.
Yeah, I even included the each chapter's logo in the middle.
Oh, nice.
All right, so yeah, we've got.
That's ours. That's the Haven, I think.
I think so. Yep, that's the Haven. Yep, it's not wanting to focus on my camera.
Right, that's the Amelia Earhart.
Right, there's the Victorious.
Victorious.
And there's our Andromeda.
There's Andromeda.
Yep. And us and the Victorious, they were our support ship. We branched off from them. And so we often will do recruiting events together because my ship's a correspondence ship and theirs is a meeting ship. So we're offering very different fandom experiences. So it's very easy for us to use
So, who ended up with the SFI? I'm
the
just
same
curious.
table and recruit together.
Drew's asking who got the SFI QR code.
The SFI, I didn't see that one
I'll
on
be
the
right
table.
Then Mark got it.
Yeah, he must have, because these were the ones that were left.
So is there somewhere you can go to create a QR code?
Yes. Let's see if I still got that link.
So, as far as the voting on the regional coordinator, as far as what's supposed to happen is the captain's supposed to actually talk to everybody on the ship. And from the ship, the majority of that, he's supposed to put in the nomination or vote from the ship. Now, if your captain's not doing that, there's something wrong with his logic or her logic, because me personally, I know for a fact Drew actually talked to everybody. And then we talked to, at the time, hold on, let me put you in layout.
No, finish.
And then Antonio actually put it in what the majority wanted for that. What do you mean the wider choice? If you only have 2 or 3 people, there's not much choice, and any ship can put forward a person. So
a choice for what?
RC.
Yeah.
Oh, for the nomination?
They
Nomination list, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's supposed to happen. Is it's supposed to come from the ship as a whole, and the ship's captain is supposed to put in the votes from the ship.
One of the things that I sometimes get grouchy about is that there's the membership handbook notes this particular piece of information, but does not govern the chapter back to make sure that the chapter does the work. So, it's like it's supposed to work this way, but that's sort of an unwritten rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of freedom to individual chapters on, trying not to have too much top-down control.
I understand, but I do sometimes think that there should be rules. I mean, I wonder.
There should definitely be a strong framework.
And let's face it, this is After Dark, so therefore I'm just going to say what I mean to say. I think that there are a few chapters out there, without naming names, but there are definitely some chapters out there that, like, maybe having a captain that's been captain for 20 years is not necessarily a good thing for your chapter overall.
And
I mean, I get it. You could have a chapter where nobody else really wants to do the job. But if
that's how I got hired.
For that person or those people, like in our current chapter, we've come to a gentleman's agreement. I fully admit this is a gentleman's agreement or general person's agreement, depending how you want to look at it, where we rotate every 2 years. And we would have an election if we ever needed to run an election. But we've never had the situation of more than 2 people wanting the jobs. So usually they get acclaimed and we just do a transfer. Now, this year, because of COVID, we've moved it a year and let the captain have an extra year as captain. That means I had an extra year as XO. But that was just purely because we did nothing for
Donnie.
Most of 2 years, right? So it's not really fair to to sit there and go, the incoming captain was like, hi, you got to do nothing, right? So, but the crew agreed to that statement. Like, but yeah, I sometimes wonder when I talk to other people or hear about chapters where it's like, you've had the same captain for 20 years. You've had the same,
and I watched. Now there was a chapter that left recently, and I read the statement. It was basically there's nothing to do, and come to find out, it looked like a communication problem, because one of the things that they said was membership cost was $20 a year, and I'm like, no, it's $5. And
unless you got a
there's
really large
nothing to
family
do.
plan.
There's nothing to do. I said, well, you've got this, and this. And he said, oh, those don't count. That's not part of SFI. And I'm like, yes, the Marines are part of SFI. The medical group is part of SFI. This is part of SFI. These are things you can do in addition to. And it was like, I looked at it as there was poor communication.
Oh, definitely.
And a lot of it is the chapter. One of the things that a chapter is supposed to do is try and find stuff to do. Now, we have issues where we have people all over the country in the military. It's kind of hard to do a lot of stuff. But for the people that are local, if they weren't so busy, we have things that we offer them to do. And even those people that work, I can tell you, Drew talks to every one of the members probably on a weekly basis, where he actually goes into businesses where they work and goes, hey, this is what's going on. If you're available, cool. If you have any issues, this is what's going on. We have one of our members is we have a discount for SFI through, and she's a member of our crew. And Drew will go up, get the stuff that we need, and let her know, hey, it's about time for you to renew your data policy or whatever else.
Yep.
It's one of those things of the communication is the main thing that's missing in a lot of chapters. I heard of a chapter that, not naming names, but people asked for the history of the chapter, and when it did, they claimed that it was spam. So communication is a big thing, and dealing with personalities can be a big thing too, because sometimes you have to find other people if one person's causing a problem, and you have to talk to them and say, hey, this is what's going on, and be truthful to them. There's positives and negatives about being command staff.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting any of that. And I know that sometimes you're going to have people who, and you're going to have chapters that aren't, but as an outsider looking in, sometimes I wonder. And, obviously that's going to be different every place, right?
Oh, yeah. It's as different as there are a number of members. There's the number of differences. It's hard to put your finger on every last single thing. But I think overall, especially with SFI, with what we do and what we're outlined and designed to do,
I mean,
communication is first and foremost what we really need to do.
I know
that is awesome.
Sorry, Sean.
Arlene said that the person gave them all the rule books. Here you go. That's something that you can go look up yourself, but the fact that they gave it to you so you didn't even have to look, that puts you on a foot of I want you to have as much information as me.
Yeah.
I have to admit that there was a great discussion about promotions somewhere. I'm not sure where. It was a really good discussion, though. And just how, and then let's face it, ships all do it differently, right? Like some ships have very regimented. You will do X, and you will do Y, and you will be in grade this long, and that kind of thing. And then there are ships like us who shoot from the hip a lot.
Yeah.
I shoot from the rip. Does that count?
Yeah. But that's what it says in the shakedown manual, about the wide range of different possibilities to approach promotions within a chapter.
Yeah, I mean, and it always depends on how regimented you want and how you want to do because I've got members in my chapter who aren't office or very. The example I'm thinking of is not an officer, specifically because of the fact that was a requirement for OTS, and I was like, I'm not here to write tests. And in some chapters, he would be deeply penalized for that because there'd be an educational component to get a promotion.
Oh,
I know that I wrote ours up a while ago. I haven't even looked at it since. But I think we say you can get up to lieutenant, but after that, you have to do OTS.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it vastly depends how you want to structure things out, right?
Actually, it's JG, but yeah, with the exception of one, that was Victoria,
and that wasn't
even. And I'm good with that.
Yep.
That wasn't us.
We tend to require it more for department heads to have the OTC and OCC.
I mean, technically, the OTS is supposed to be every officer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can do it. I mean, there are people. I know I've had discussions with people and certainly there's implications in the Marine guidance books because the Marine guidance books are always a little more sticky. And I have a gunnery sergeant. When I promoted him, or when me and the captain promoted him, because I drove that ship, I said, everybody who has a problem with it can talk to me, and I will tell them where they can go. And, but there's, and right now he's the OIC. I have I'm going to say units. 2 of them are being run by NCOs.
Sweet.
As it should probably be, actually.
Funny thing, yeah. But there's also things like, so in the military organizations, there's also time and grade and training in field that counts.
Well, you also have the NCOIC, who is the equivalent to an officer, but he's enlisted personnel, and he is responsible for a specific team or arm.
Yeah, I mean, and what is it? Yeah, and you also have your one too. So, but we gave away one of the department heads because of what she does. It was one of those things of she's, I believe, communications, but she's also the person that does all of our printing. So basically, she works 6 days a week doing printing and gets home late. So we said, as long as you keep up with your data plan or your on the data course, we're good, because that's the main thing you're dealing with. Yeah. Everything else, your job, you know what you're doing. Yeah. So, and in my ship, we make tribbles. So it's one of those things. We sell them for $5 at conventions, right? They're cute, they're adorable, they get people to stop at the table, and by and large, they're probably the stuff we move the most. And they're also our loss leader. Like, we can give away a tribble, like, with almost no consequence to our bottom line. which means more money for our charity. But and one of the things is that, a handful of people do that work for us. On self-driven, and they sit there and they give us 60 or 90 triples. And when they do that, we've sat there and said, well, that's fine. That you do that all year, and we'll give you a promotion grade on it. You're contributing to the club. You're making us money. Why not?
You're right.
Some clubs might sit there and go, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, they're contributing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that I require to promote someone. Are you contributing?
We know of a chapter where a member of the command staff, the CO, is dealing with a horrible illness and into therapy and treatments, and it's a cancer. And somebody from his chapter was talking to someone in my chapter and literally said, I want to jump ship. Well, I caught that guy in a parking lot and I said, if you want your chapter, which is like mine, a correspondence chapter, to do something different or get together for a game or whatever, if nobody's stepping up to say to do it, why don't you set it up? Well, I thought only one person can do it. No, that's the whole purpose of a crew. You throw in the idea, and I know damn well your CO will support this, keeping the crew active. Well, I don't know. It may offend him. I said, well, unless you can bring me a 5-page letter from your CO saying, yes, I want him on your ship, don't you dare come near my ship.
I have to admit that occasionally we've had people move from ship to ship because personal conflict. So,
well, it's not a personal conflict. It's just he's bored. He thinks he's bored because the CO is constantly either going in for chemotherapy or radiation.
Oh, and I get that part of the equation.
And he's saying, well, if they're not playing games, I don't want to be on this crew. Well, then why don't you reach out to the crew and say, let's get together for a game? Well, it's not my job. Whose job is it? They give money to different organizations here in town, and I know he's donated and collected as well. It's kind of like, dude, if you want to stand up, you want your chapter to grow, you want to stay with your friends, do so. If you want to come and work with us while your crew is settling up, but stay on your ship, that's fine. But you will not transfer to my vessel.
Is there a way to
arguments about that being against the membership handbook? Technically,
I was going to say I don't know that there's rules saying that you can bar somebody from joining your ship.
Well, he can't join.
You can.
He can say boom, but at the end of it, in this particular case, it's just because he wants more than they can give at this moment due to health issues.
And we require any transfer to our ship from another ship to have a letter from the CO saying that they talked to the CO and it's okay. Because of the fact that we don't want to be known as poaching.
Plus, we've already been accused of poaching just because I started the ship. I poached myself. I poached Sean. I poached my wife, and I poached my daughter, according to the accusation.
Yeah, and obviously, we're going to always have disagreements about how that is going to work and thing. But theoretically, the way SFI is set up, it is supposed to be if a member wants to transfer from a ship to a ship, that's not supposed to be something with a lot of.
That's what I told them.
Right. But if there is a legitimate conflict between the CO and this person, how do you stop them from joining your ship?
No. If it's a legitimate conflict, first off, try to help mediate. And this particular CO knows I'm willing to sit and listen to both sides banter and bitch forever, and I'll help. But at the same time, if it's just because he's sick and is not able to orchestrate all these gatherings,
Mm-hmm.
get off your ass and orchestrate a gathering yourself.
Well, I agree to that in principle, but being the legal devil's advocate, as far as I know, there is nothing that you can do to stop someone from joining your vessel. Is how
Wrong.
does that
Chapter
work?
bylaws.
I mean,
Chapter bylaws are in it. You do realize that they can request to join your chapter if you, as the CO, can stop it. That is in the rules because it's part of the chapter bylaws. And our bylaws says you have to actually get permission.
Okay,
Ours don't.
so
Our
get
bylaws
into,
don't say that.
yeah, but let us not get into the minutia about stuff that's defined in membership handbook and stuff that's defined by chapter, because that's
Right.
always going to conflict.
The
Right.
membership
Because
handbook, there's no way to stop it.
No, if they switch to me, I would actually go talk to the last CEO.
Hmm.
yeah.
And I would say,
I
this
mean-
is what's going on. If you're still cool with it, I'm not gonna kick him to the curb, but I do have that final say.
Yeah. And I could see your trepidation of wanting to bring someone in, but shouldn't we also be encouraging members to find chapters that they feel that they can engage in if they're feeling
Right. But
underrepresented with somebody that yes has health issues,
well,
which
this
is
person with health issues had already posted a notice, actually several times, that if you want to start a game, regardless of who you are, if you're in my crew, start a game.
oh yeah, take the
So
initiative.
use the Facebook page, make the initiative, get it out there,
yeah,
keep us active. Now, he's already said to do that, and he's already stated he backs it and supports it 100%.
yeah, no,
If this person says, well, they're not doing the games for me, I'm leaving. Okay, no, you shouldn't
Then that-
even be in SFI, because the situations will arise everywhere where someone's not going to be able to do that for you.
yeah,
And what
And the fact that he's a full lieutenant means he already knows something.
Theoretically.
the guy
Mhm.
also didn't know that we've been training one of their members to replace their current XO so that they can have an active person in the command staff. That so we've been actually trying to help the ship because we knew what was going on. Drew had already talked to the CO. So it's one of those things of, if I'm already trying to help your ship, I'm not going to take from your ship unless it's to the point where that ship's going to go down, knowing that I'm about to have somebody that's going to be more active being in place in the next month, because we're already in the midst of getting them set up.
yeah. But if the person doesn't know that, then
And Drew told him.
well, I mean, obviously, but I mean, I think we've gotten to the point of we're talking way too specifically. Where me and John are making general points of
Right. Generality.
in these conditions, not your specific conditions,
Yeah.
but in these conditions, these are the things that come into
Well,
play.
it's like there's been one case where we didn't do that, but then, when the captain steps down, leaves, the entire state and region and everything else they're in goes to the other end of the country and says, hey, can I join your chapter? Well, sure. Who am I going to ask? Your former RC?
No, and I get it, but like,
I'm cool with that.
just understand that some of what we were saying was not necessarily about.
I simply believe that communication up and down has to be consistent.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't think it always is.
There's a lack of consistency regarding that.
Yeah, we got a lot of people down at the bottom afraid to talk up, and we got a lot of people up on top who don't have a chance to talk back down. And that communication is our key. That is actually our key to growth.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. I personally see, not necessarily, but I see a lot of people wearing too many hats in SFL.
All the hats.
I wouldn't know anything about
and
that.
and I'm guilty too. I do wear two.
I wish more people would come on this show, and I'll tell you why. Because we have an open platform where if you do have an issue of some sort, we can talk about it. We can get ideas.
Yeah.
We gladly relay them, sometimes with a little more passion than expected, but we do it. John there is telling us all about long-term hospital care.
Unwilling.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Not currently.
No, I'm doing a majority of the assembly for the work with this particular person. He's military himself, and I'm kind of helping him through with the understanding of the nuances within the manuals.
But part of ours is half of our people are current military people and not close enough. And as we're growing, we are adding people because I was the chief engineer. Oh, thank you. Somebody just joined our crew that took over that. So we're slowly trying to, in our science, we got a new science officer as well. So as we're adding people, we're looking for those people that have that talent to be that person, because some people, they don't want to be specifically the training person. Where I have been training people for different things in leadership for the last 15 years.
Same here.
I don't mind training somebody how to do that. And I would like somebody to do it. And I was kind of hoping, unfortunately, he's not currently active, to get one of our members to be specifically the recruiting officer that was Down syndrome. That part of ours is we also do special needs. So
I will not go there to that opinion, because I can tell, I can say, but I won't why he's not coming back.
Yeah. And
don't need to know.
Academy. Oh, sorry. But like I said, currently, Mike, we don't have that. But as soon as we find somebody that has that aptitude and wanting to be the training officer, it'll be okay. Let's teach you what we know, and it's all yours.
I think my group just tends to go with mentoring the next person in line. So as XO, I would mentor the next XO kind of thing. So. Yeah,
that's the thing. And another thing that we really want to do is we want to find groups of people that want to be another chapter, because when you get a chapter together and it sticks together as a smaller group and can expand into an area, then plant that group. Like, I have an idea for the Bartow people. They have enough people to be a chapter, and I just haven't convinced. We haven't sat down and convinced them yet.
Yeah, you gotta. I think the biggest problem with starting chapters is finding somebody to fill that first COXO job.
Yeah,
that is the biggest problem with chapters. For example, here in Edmonton, obviously now we have the Cerberus, but for years we were trying to get someone to step up to be that COXO so that ship could start. And it turned out that, the current CO picked up the ball and ran with it. And for reasons that I will not get into, they got help from Region 13, and now they're here in Region 10 being the Cerberus. So it's always nice to have new chapters, and hopefully we'll get some more going into my region. There's a big empty void, comparatively. And I'm hoping that we'll get some chapters. I know I was commenting with someone else on SFI this week, though, about an interesting thing of a lot of the big cities don't have chapters.
Yeah.
And that's while it was being directed very pointedly at Canada, I was like, if you go and look at the state map, there are many big cities in the United States that do not have chapters.
The chapter that con was in, Naples, didn't have one. As a matter of fact, Jessica is living in Naples, and her chapter is 2 hours away.
Exactly. Because, we're technically Tampa, but my first officer's in Titusville on the Space Coast, the east side of Florida. My chief medical officer's down in Fort Lauderdale near Miami. And then Jess is my science officer down there in Naples.
But Miami has no...
Nope.
Titusville has 2 ships, so we're not going to talk about that.
Well.
But Miami has no ships. Naples has no ships. Venice has no ships. Those are rather large areas in Florida.
I'm the southernmost chapter at the moment.
I think the Largo or St. Petersburg chapter that we don't know their person.
The Tiberius.
Yeah.
I mean, of the chapters in my region, and probably of the Canadian chapters, period, my chapter as members is probably in the largest city where primarily our members are in the city itself. Even Edmonton, which technically is a slightly smaller city, but most of their chapter is actually communities outside, and it's only a couple members that actually reside in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I assume that happens in lots of places in the in SFI, where a ship is sort of like a handful of people here, and then like scattering of people throughout suburbs, and
basically a meeting area.
Well, the Miami one, it surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, they have some of the biggest cons in the world, and there's 4 million people in that city. We got to find 10 nerds that like Star Trek and go, chapter.
Yeah, I don't know where the fall down is on that. Clearly there is something.
15, you want a little room for like back and forth?
Yeah, I mean,
new time.
I mean, and let's face it, that's definitely something we as a group, it is something we should look at and try and figure out what is going on there.
Jesse, by the way, do you need the Odyssey's contact information?
The Odysseys, yes, if they are not on the
that's
the independent
UFP. Chapter. Yeah, the independent chapter, the UFP chapter that we were talking to.
Oh, okay. Yep. No, I was thinking of our chapter search.
Yeah, we talked to 2 different chapters. One, we got contact information that's part of what's called UFP, United Federation of Planets. Yeah. They're an independent group, and it sounded like he might be interested in possibly joining. Now, I'd put a whole ship right there. But like I said, it was one of those things we talked to people not only individuals, but we talked to
Groups.
a couple groups
Oh, yeah.
while we were there, and that was like probably one of the most successful recruiting stops that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Now, speaking of what you were saying about South Florida, like with the Andromeda, we've connected with the Delta Fleet, and they have a lot of chapters down in that area.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
For more of that southern Florida.
And we are always going to, and let's face it, we're always going to have challenges because we're always not going to be somebody's cup of tea, right? There are definitely people out there who don't like huge amounts of organization or having a top level organization or having anything but like very loose affiliations between ships and that kind of thing. And, you know, Drew, I, John, we everybody here has gone through the big thing of like we need to work together more as a fleet, less like individual chapters, you know, that whole rigmarole. But some people like to be that independent, like, no, we don't want an overseeing body. We don't want a structured system. And that'll always be a challenge to get those people on board or get some of those people on board because they're used to a system where they can do what they want, how they want, whenever they want. Kind of thing.
Yep.
Right.
But at the same time, I think if they're local, we to prove we can actually make a difference, it's good to show we're willing to work together.
Yeah, well, and let's face it, there are definitely chapters in SFI, and there are definitely groups or collection of friends outside of SFI that have no interest in service.
Yeah. And
to my idea, SFI can welcome that too. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea in the room, but sometimes you're just like a group of friends who watches Star Trek and wants to go to cons together.
The thing of it is in a chapter you can have a few people that just like to game, a few people like to cosplay, a few people like to have service. It's one of those things. The more you have available,
your crew,
the better your chance of growth. And now, when I saw Jessica's Ferengi thing, I'm like,
oh yeah,
damn, I want one.
Yeah, and she's been doing that Ishka cosplay for a while. She was up at the official Star Trek mission Chicago earlier this year.
And she got her picture with
Chase
actually autographed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice.
So now she has her in the full cosplay with the picture of Chase, autographed by Chase.
Oh yeah, and I got Chase's info. We're actually going to be connecting over her charity to see about supporting that.
That's awesome.
I left before she could give me the info. Can you send it to me? We were going to get her back on the program.
Oh yeah.
Just screenshot, take a picture of it, and send it to me as a text.
Yeah.
Oh, you would have loved it. I wanted to shoot the Dalek.
Even
they had a 5-foot Dalek that was screaming and doing the Dalek noises the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was over there, like 10 feet from me. I'm like, I wish this thing was a real blaster.
Yes. You're not the only one. One of the people that said, "Can I hold that?" Turn around and go, "Does it work?" No. He was pointing at it. So we're not the only ones getting tired of that thing.
Like I said, the con was an amazing melting pot that, granted, we do the sci-fi Bartow thing. We've done the recruiting around here, but when we went there, it was like you had all these different people and you start talking to one person about their cosplay and you find out that they like what you like, or they're starting to try and figure out, say, 3D printing, and they ask you questions, and you ask them questions about using foam. It was one of those things of all day long having small conversations with everybody.
Yep.
And I'm sure if they find another location, because currently SpaceCon doesn't have a location to do next year's show.
Yeah, because they
raised the price by 5 times.
Yeah, and the price went up.
So when they have it, being able to go to it next year and be able to see those people, it'll be awesome. Especially the guys with the Beetle turned into a Camaro for the Big B. They had a life-size model of Bumblebee that actually transformed.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, it was interesting, and you saw the picture. We actually outnumbered 501st for once.
I have to comment on Hector here because he's saying Firefly, and I'm like, and I'm so brown coated, it's not funny. And I when I originally came on here the first couple times, I actually had the unit flag behind me next to my Canadian flag.
That's awesome.
Because at the time I didn't have a United Federation of Planets flag, which is what I normally put on. But yeah, I have no problems with mixing.
I've got the Serenity nameplate. There it is, right in between my Klingon and Idic.
If you're on TikTok, Jewel Straight actually interacts with fans.
Oh yeah, I've attempted to get her to interact with me, but the one I posted was about the one where I need her to come to Calgary so that she can sign the other half of this poster I have that Nathan signed, because she's the other half of the poster.
If that show had gone for more than one season or more than 10 episodes, I might have found something other than Stargate that I like so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jewel Straight, if you were to take that poster you want signed, send her a message either on TikTok or on Twitter, and ask if you can send it to her to sign and include return postage. Yeah. And I would just about guarantee you she'll sign it.
Oh, I realize that if I really want to work at it, I'm just hoping she'll come to Calgary, because let's face it, I'd like a photo op too, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Having that, knowing there are people there that want to see her, that might help to, it might help to motivate her to come to Calgary to see you.
Yeah, no, I have to admit, Nathan was a lot of fun. I had the poster commissioned by a local artist. And when he went to go sign it, he was like, "I've never seen this before." And I'm like, "Yes, because there are 5, and I know where they all are."
Nice.
Yeah, I paid a little extra to have it commissioned because I was given the option. The artist was like, "Hey, if you'll let me sell this as a poster in my normal stuff, I would, I'll give you a discount because I can make money on it." I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I wanted very specifically this thing
as a limited edition."
Yeah. So yeah, there are 5. The artist has 5. I know the people have 3 and 4, and I believe I have 1 and 2.
Mike is asking you a question specifically. Or asking about SFMC for you.
Oh. Yes, even though you're staying.
So what you want to ask him, Mike?
Yeah, shoot. Maybe we can exchange, because I'm always curious about SO, but we don't have anyone in our region that's in that group. for happenstance or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, as I know that my salad, if I ever get it together, is a large freaking plate, and that's with the reductions that they did when they went and shrank the bars, or the amount of bars that they were issuing, because they moved a number of the awards around. But
I just looked at the time.
yeah, we've been going at it. Yep.
I was gonna say I got to get up early. I got to go see Sci-Fi Sean at 8, and then I got to turn around and I got to come back in to see some other people.
Yeah. To address Mike's thing, we're working on a wilderness challenge this year. I don't know if we're going to do. There's a World War II bunker near us that we were looking at taking a walk out to, which is I think a 5 or 7 kilometer hike from the parking area. We've looked at some other things, including Mount. I think it's called Mount Romulus, which is a mountain we have here in the Rockies that we've looked at. Although that looks like it's like, a good day or a day and a half trip, so that's something staying.
Now that would be something I wish I could afford to come to. I'd bring all my land nav stuff and my survival stuff and disappear.
Well, there's lots of backcountry you can disappear to in the Alberta and Rockies. But I mean, that's what we're looking at, is doing that kind of yeah. But I know our real world skills are a little more on the iffy side in convention, because we're not, little more like Academy than real world. I mean, everything is applicable when you do it. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. The Marine course, the Marine first aid course that we have for the combat medic is extensively thorough and very realistic, but it is book learning only. So, but I mean, the Marines are what we are, and I know locally, like literally tomorrow, I have a meeting at 1:00 with my Marines to talk about wilderness survival and trying to do more things together as Marines, kind of at the brigade level more than just the local unit. But I do want more interaction, other than like going to a stuffy meeting. So
well, it looks like Mike's got the certifications.
Yeah,
I was taught by my JRTC instructor, Land Nav, but I teach for the church the survival courses.
Yeah, I mean,
kids.
I have taken Land Nav many years ago as part of either scouting or I know that at one point there was a part of my phys ed requirements included a land navigation as part of that, because I lived in Yellowknife. So might be handy to be able to read a map and a compass, especially when you need to offset as much as you need to offset in Yellowknife, because Magnetic North is that I can't get it to work. It's not north. It's
over
very
there.
This way kind of thing when you start talking about Yellowknife.
The closer you are to the compass, the smaller the area. But talk to you later. But it is that time. We have been going on for 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up here. Now, one announcement is our next show will not be on the first of the week. It will be changing to the second and the fourth.
Well, I appreciate that because that was me. The first was going to be Canada Day, and I'm going to be in an event, and I will be probably drunk.
Oh, that would be
fun. Other people's liquors because I don't want to. I don't want to spring for my own.
So
yeah,
I posted the first picture of me in cosplay to my Facebook, and I found a lot of people in my church were Trekkies that I had no clue. So,
well, you got more members?
Yeah. Well, not yet. I haven't talked to them in a while, so that'll be an ongoing project. But it's cool to find people that you did other things with, share your likes that you don't ever talk about that. Yeah, those are the people that I taught wilderness training with and all.
Yeah.
So
I have to admit that the SCA is very crossover too, and it's just a matter of trying to get them to come and join various groups. But we'll see. But
so
definitely something I'm working on.
We'll talk with everybody in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Thank you everybody that joined in, and live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.